Hello and welcome back. In addition to making a great camping pillow, the DIY Packraft backrest can serve as either a simple backrest to provide support as you recline against the Packraft's rear tubes, or it can be used as a backband for more aggressive whitewater paddling. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make and install the attachment points that turn the backrest into a backband. I'll post a separate video showing how to make the backband itself. Start by cutting a piece of the double-sided TPU floor fabric, 25mm or 1 inch wide, and 16.5 centimeters or 6.5 inches long. Slide it through the slot in the ladder lock that's farthest away from the little tab that you can hold onto.
This is important. You're going to slide it through this slot here. Line up the ends like that, and then slide it through like that so that this curvature is facing down and these tails are on the TPU side. Then we're just going to spread them apart like that. Make sure they're sticking through the same amount. The corners are about that far away from the edge of the circle. That's what you want it to look like, with the edges of the strap touching the edges of the slot. There will be some overlap here. You can feel with your thumb that the overlap stops about there, and then these continue like that. And make an adjustment if they slip like that. You don't want these corners all the way to the edge or too close, but maybe a finger's width away. Make sure these are touching the edge of the slot. And this is sticking out about that far. And it's curved that way, not upside down. And when that's all lined up like that, tack it with your iron. Okay. That looks good. And we're going to take a scrap of tube fabric. Should be, try to keep it about a finger's width away from the edge of the circle. So kind of like that. Might make it a bit narrower. I think that'll do. Put it in a place where you're going to be able to iron it flat and center it between the sides and iron that on.
Note that if you iron too long in this area on the underside of the attachment point, you'll start to melt the TPU on the strap, like this. So be mindful of how long you're ironing in one place, and fold the strap back out of the way to avoid melting it. After you weld the tails of the strap to the circle, it's ready to be welded to the Packraft. To avoid excessive stress on the attachment points, and to minimize the inward pulling forces on the Packraft's side tubes, you'll want to place the attachment points well forward of your backrest. The exact location isn't critical, but as a reference, I centered these ones about 34 centimeters or 13 inches ahead of the seams that join tubes 3 and 4, and locating them there left plenty of room for the thigh strap attachment points. That works for my body in this size Packraft though, so don't just follow my lead without checking to see how things fit for you in your Packraft. One last thing to consider before you start ironing is that if you plan to install a spray deck on your Packraft, you'll need to make sure the attachment points don't extend sideways past the tops of the tubes. The easiest way to find the top of a tube is to lay a straight edge across the Packraft, like this. When you've decided where you want the attachment point to be located, rotate it so the ladder lock points towards the rear of the cockpit, like this, almost pointing at the rear center seam. Then weld it to the tube with your iron. Do the same thing with the second attachment point on the other side of the Packraft. These rear two attachment points aren't totally necessary, and you can leave them off your Packraft if you want to. But adding a piece of shock cord between them and the backrest stops it from flopping around and getting in your way when you're getting into the Packraft. After you're seated, the shock cord doesn't really do anything. You can also attach other things to these attachment points though, and behind your backrest is a convenient place to store things that you want to access while you're paddling. I've already posted a video showing how to make and install these attachment points. The exact placement isn't critical, but I centered these ones about 27 centimeters above the Packraft's floor, or 10.5 inches, and 95 millimeters from the rear center seam, or 3 3/4 inches. Slide one end of the shock cord through the hole in the back band and tie a knot in it. Alternatively, if you want the back band to be quickly removable, you could add hooks to the ends of the shock cord. Thread the shock cord through the rear attachment points and then to the other side of the back band. Note that in your kit, all these attachment points will be black. Thread the back band straps through the ladder locks. I find that the shiny side of the straps grip the ladder locks better than the matte side, so I always thread them through like this. Sit in your Packraft and adjust the back band until you achieve the desired seating position. This will change when you're in the water. For whitewater paddling, you'll want a forward and upright, bent-kneed posture. For more relaxed paddling, you can recline back against the rear tubes with your legs straight. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.